What's up, Tim Sykes here. Just going to go over my latest trade. Made nearly $2,000 on it on CLOW. Classic morning dip, morning panic pattern. Nice little bounce all the way from 190 to 260. I underestimated it as usual. I was in around 2, out in the 230s. But guess what? I mean, look at this. This is how this pattern works out. Where do I start? I guess I'll start with my trades. Nearly $3,000 in the first 15 minutes of the trading day today. Had a nice little pre-market gain on WATT. Recognize it as a former supernova. Same catalyst as the last time it tripled. And now my better trade, even though, again, I really underestimated it, made nearly 2 grand, but left another 2 grand on the table. So this is not perfect by any means. This is the pattern, guys. This is my favorite pattern. I nailed CVSI the past few weeks on this morning panic pattern. You can see here it dipped into the close yesterday. Remember not to dip by afternoon or late day or even midday panics. For me, it's all about the panics in the first few minutes because you have lots of idiots who don't study my video lessons, DVDs, or webinars, and they just put in, stop losses on these stocks that have been running for several days. And the idiots create this kind of tsunami of sellers. So we're basically just surfing. If you're a short seller, congratulations. This had a nice little panic here once before, and now you have another better panic. Support was right at the former highs in the 190s, so this is a perfect technical analysis example. Now the bounce is fading a little bit. This all happens very quick. So you have to be prepared ahead of time. How do you be prepared ahead of time? Well, I have 650 motherfucking video lessons on this one pattern. It blows my mind that more of you guys are not watching these video lessons. Mark Crook also, if you're in the challenge, you get access to his video lessons. He has video lessons specifically on morning panics. He's my newest millionaire student. In case you don't know who he is, he's been studying hard. He actually is responsible for categorizing and tagging all of my video lessons because he watched all my video lessons 3 times. Some of you guys message me, oh, I've read or I've watched, half your video lessons or 3/4 of them. Mark Crook watched all of them 3 fucking times. And I'm sorry if you're offended by swearing, but a lot of you guys just aren't taking this education serious enough. I don't make these video lessons for the fun of it. I'm losing my voice because I was actually just recording something this morning. There's thousands of video lessons, but over 600 videos on this one morning panic pattern. And this is the best pattern for small accounts. You buy 1,000 shares, 2,000 shares, 500 shares at 2-ish, and you sell at 230, 240, 250, 260. You choose. You make 10, 20, 30% on your money inside of an hour. Doesn't work every single time. I'm rushing through this because this happens so often. It blows my mind that more people aren't taking this seriously. But to those of you guys who are, congratulations. Let me just go into the chat room for a second. This is the challenge chat room. I mentioned it. WATT was my pre-market trade, but it failed right at the open, so no rebuy there. Then I said at 9:32, CLOW pump panic, nice. Congrats to shorts on the first red day yesterday. So you can short sell these plays. It's tough to find shares to short, but that was my congratulatory note. Then about 2 minutes later, I'm buying it at 2-ish. A few other people got it. Look at this. Before I even alerted, got to give props to RBI. He's made 10,000 plus. And K Kahana, even though they're down, 600, this was a perfect entry. Both these people, actually, look, the Jackaroo was in at 194. Ethan EL was in at 190. I love these 4 students. And Paulo is congratulating me on my Matthew McConaughey spoof, which I posted on Twitter. But 4 students beat my alerts before I even did it. That is the key. I don't want you following alerts from anybody. I want you being self-sufficient. And these are just 4 students in the challenge. Let me see in the Tim Alerts chat room. Rooks Bourbon was recognizing that Clow was falling. Michael recognized that Clow was falling. J.E. Zuit was recognizing it. Let me see. Did anybody know? I guess it was mostly Tim Challenge students. And that makes sense. Like I said, Tim Challenge students have access not just to my video lessons, but also Mark Crook's video lessons. He has like 400 now. And Tim Challenge students get access to, 2 to 4 live webinars per week, and, like 1,200 or 1,300 archive webinars from me, Mark Crook, Tim Grattani, Tim Bowen, Stephen Dux, Michael Good. It's just a huge amount of information. And this is the key to playing these stocks. Here's some Tim Alerts, people. Look at this. Zaid Hussein bought the dip at 234, got 1 cent filled. Okay, so we only got a partial position. The new guy was in at 190, out at 220, made 15%. Very nice. Solly missed the execution. It's okay if you miss the execution as long as you try. These plays will happen again and again, like I said. So if you're close, at least you're on the right track and you see the potential for the bounce. Now it's coming back down. By the way, I just gave a nice little alert here saying Clow in the 260s. This is best case scenario on the bounce I'd be selling here. So even though I didn't personally time it perfectly, my alerts were pretty damn good. I actually got out right around here. So even if I was late somehow, if I knocked myself unconscious for the past 20 minutes and I woke up, I could still sell it right now and make nearly 20%. But look at this. This guy, Family Guy, says, how did you find Clow? It's not on your watch list, not in the percent gainers. Where do I look? Same pattern as always. Watch all 650 plus tip buys videos, and it's been on my watch list every few days the past few weeks. Gotta keep track of multi-week winners. Prepare, 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 prepare. I mean, that's the key here, guys. Like, you have to be ready for this. So I just responded to Family Guy. But I love this. Look at this. HDC sold MNKD way too early. 1,000 in at 171, out at 254. That's not too early. That's taking the meat of the move. You just made 30%. Congratulate yourself. It's okay if you sell too soon. My God. Tim Mentality made like 10% on CLOW. Arnold made some money on MNKD. RNA made some money on MNKD. Ooh, look at RYRMAR made 20% on CLOW. So I timed it, not the best, not the worst, but I took my, my profits. Here's Derek playing MNKD. Let's see. MNKD, I guess, keeps hitting new highs. Let's see. Let's take a look at that. I didn't even play this one. Sometimes I miss plays. There's too many plays going on. I wait for the perfect patterns, and this was the perfect pattern. Let's see. Some misexecutions. Clow. Yeah. So whether you played Clow or MNKD, it's pretty sweet. Look at this. RBI made 575. Happy with the trade. Can't be greedy. Last few dips, I've done well. Starting to feel confident. Nice, but don't get too cocky. All it takes is one bad trade to wipe away your cockiness and make you humble again. So it's cool that, that some of you guys can profit nicely and feel good, but understand that to become a millionaire, you're going to need to do this thousands of times. So it doesn't matter if you make 575 or here's Utter Mahato, another challenge student made 403, was prepared today. Nice. Happy Camper made 150, but made 60 cents a share on MNKD. So that's actually fantastic. It's not about whether you make 150 or 400 or 500. It's taking whatever you can from these plays with predictable patterns and learning the process at the same time. Look at this. Ramesh dip bought CLOW 228, out at 260 for 786 profit. Missed the bottom by a lot. Missed the bottom exactly by a lot. My last 7 trades were on dip buys. It worked 6 times, and one time I got greedy. Instead of taking profit, I got out for a $30 loss. Good, you're learning. So even if you lose, okay, there's still lessons and losses when you get too greedy. You're just trying to take as much of the move as possible. And if you miss your execution, guess what? At least it's a lesson for the next time. This is what it's all about. Look at this. Missed the bottom by a lot, but my last 7 trades were on dip buys. It worked 6 times. Okay. This is not going to work 100% of the time. Nothing ever does. But when a pattern is working the majority of the time, and when you have, a loss it was Ramesh's own fault. Look at this. AAK94 says, how did you find it? Same pattern as always. I was prepared, just like hundreds of other students. Get on watching video lessons and catch up too. Let's see. So a few other people are talking about some other stocks. I don't really care right now. Making nearly $3,000 in the morning. Wow, look at Cloud come all the way back down. Let me actually write this. Cloud all the way back down. Now you see why I play it so safely. Even though I underestimated the bounce, I locked in profits nicely. Stefano says, first successful morning panic dip buy, bought 300 shares at 190, exited too soon at 220. Happy I got that right. Exactly. And so again, whether you make 100, 200, 500, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, it's all part of the process of becoming wealthy over time. Perfect play by perfect play. A lot of you guys saw that on CVSI. I had perfect entries like 3 or 4 times. I sold them all too quickly. This one I sold too quickly. It's a problem that I have, but at the same time, I lock it in. And now look at it. Cloud is making new lows. So maybe it'll be another good dip buy. I don't know. For me, I just focus on the initial morning panic in the first few minutes because that's when you have the most stop losses. Let me just show you a blog post I wrote. I don't even know how many years ago. Hold on. Let me find this. This was written, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's the same fucking pattern on ZPAS. Was the example. And then Stephen Dux is my second newest millionaire student. He just passed over $2 million in profits. He loves dip buys like this too. Here's another one, CATQ. This was another morning panic. This one actually was a little choppy before it bounced. And then CNAB, this was the same kind of morning panic. And then this one had a nice little stair step bounce. This one was really straight down and then straight up really quickly. This was actually midday. So I don't like midday, but I like how fast these stocks panic. And this is just a few of the examples. I made a whole video lesson, how to trade penny stocks like a sniper. And that's basically what we're doing here. Look at this, down to 167. Woo! Never suspect that it's definitely going to be the bottom. Cloud down to 167. So glad I'm out. Might dip buy again, but this is scary, so I might just sit tight with my nearly 3K in profits already today. Anyways, that's the pattern. Oh, now it looks like it's bouncing a little bit. It'll probably bounce from like the 170s, maybe back to 190s or 2. I'm going to watch it and just try to learn from it. But I'm pretty happy. I've already made nearly $3,000 before 10 a.m. Eastern. That's pretty good. If you look at your history of how you trade and you start to get in a rhythm, if I can make $2,000 or $3,000 in a day, obviously some days are going to be more, when it's a perfect play. This one doesn't have huge volume. Like the volume's only 600,000. So this isn't the kind of a play to load up on. Like I would never buy, 50,000 shares or 100,000 shares of a play like this. Some of these panics, you have more volume and you can load up. Tim Grittani, when he had his $200,000 day, he was playing Fannie Mae, which had massive volume, same exact pattern. Let me just show you that real quick in case you don't believe me. Let's see, one sec. Let me find the article. This was from June 2013. We've updated a little bit, but if you look on Google, how to make $200,000 in one day. This is my top student. And it wasn't all on one play or one pattern. It was on the same. Look at this. This was when he was up around 600,000. This is funny. 5 years ago, he's at 600,000. Now he's over 7 million. Let me just see. Oh, the videos. Shoot, do the videos not work anymore? They're old. I post a chart. At least I posted the chart. Here's LTUM. This is a lithium pump, and this one had the same kind of morning panic. This was Fannie Mae when it drops from 5 down to 2. and then it bounces from 2 to 4. This is 100% on your money in about 20 minutes. So you can, yeah, it also had a morning spike and then a short and then a bounce. So you can play all this volatility. And this was that was Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And this was another play. I mean, this is the exact same fucking pattern. I don't know what to say at this point. Um, Again, I like just buying the initial dip. Now it gets a little hairy on the second dip or third dip. It's kind of like a bouncing ball, and usually it ends badly. But the first dip is fantastic. This was CVSI a few days ago, where I nailed the dip by, was it here? I don't even remember. There's so many freaking plays. I nailed the dip by on one of these, and then I think I nailed the dip by here. I don't know. It's the same pattern every single time. Morning panic near the market open, dip by it when level 2 starts to firm up. Sometimes you have to be very quickly on it with your buys, so you better be prepared. Like I said, there are 650 video lessons. Where'd it go? Specifically on, morning panics. So I have over 5,000 video lessons if you want to be truly prepared. But look at this, all the details of my latest $1,000 profit. This was on July 6th. This was on July 1st, the process behind making $1,000 a day. Let me see. I mean, they're all chronological, but they're all in categories. So I'll post the link to the categories below this new video. The category is called, let me just show you right here, price action, buying dips and panics. That's the name of this category. It just blows my mind. Or, even this one, price action, morning panics. There's 2 different video lessons categories. If you watch them all, you're better prepared. But I know many of you guys are like, oh, 5,000 video lessons. Even if they're only 5 minutes each, we're talking 400 hours of study. A lot of people don't want to do it. And that's why, frankly, you're just unprepared for how quick these things can bounce. Or how quickly, when they don't bounce. Because again, this doesn't work 100% of the time. But you can see here it had a panic just a few days ago. That was a nice bounce. And now it had a panic already. And that was a nice bounce. Now it's having trouble here in the 180s. I would not be dip buying it. I don't care if it's down 40%. The initial bounce is the best. So anyways, congratulations to all students who, saw this before me. Congratulations to students who missed your execution and still saw it. Congratulations to students who didn't even trade it but saw it. It's all about witnessing these in real time so that you're better prepared for the next time, because this will happen again and again and again. And if you have the patience to wait for these panics right at the open, this is what's possible. I only took a small position. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, Tim, you have a big account. That's how you're making so much. I traded with roughly $10,000 and I made nearly $2,000. If you have, let's say, 1,000, you're still possibly making like $200. You have to be a fucking moron not to see this pattern. Truly, truly, I mean, this is the most obvious pattern that works right now. Depending on when you watch this video lesson, it might not be working in the future, but it's still good to learn from what patterns worked in the past. Like I say, I'm basically a glorified history teacher. So even if the pattern isn't working that day, that week, that month, when you're learning this pattern, right now we're in fall of 2018. It's the single best pattern in the world, but maybe fall 2019, it'll suck. Does that mean that you shouldn't study this video lesson? No, on the contrary, I am a history teacher, and no different than a history teacher teaches about like the Roman Empire, the Egyptian Empire. I'm teaching you about patterns that work so that you don't just memorize the stock or the pattern. You start to learn, why does this work? You start to learn how to plan this, and you start to learn how to be self-sufficient. That's what I'm most proud of with my now 5 millionaire students. It's not just the 7 figures they made. It's the fact that they're all self-sufficient. They don't need me. I'm just training wheels. And some of my top students don't even talk to me anymore. They're not even grateful. That's fine. It's part of the process. It's part of the game. I'm used to it. Shit on me all you want. Think I'm a fraud all you want. But for me, I'm just going to keep trading these patterns when they show up. And if this pattern stops working, guess what? Some other new pattern will show up. Maybe sometimes there'll be no pattern and I'll finally get to fucking sleep in for a day. Until that happens, we're in a bull market. Try to make a few hundred, try to make a few $1,000s a day. If you don't trade, try to learn as much as possible. If you're totally broke, watch all my video lessons because you have nothing else to do because you're fucking broke. This is the reality of the situation. Hate on penny stocks, hate on me all you want. I have plenty of haters and doubters and critics. I'm just going to keep taking it one trade at a time, and I'm going to keep teaching you guys. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you when it clicks and you get it and you make the trade all on your own, whether you make 5%, 10%, 20%, or even miss your execution by a few cents. At least you see that this shit is real. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 decades. Leave a comment underneath this video saying, I understand. If you really understand this pattern and you understand my need for you to watch video lessons, not because it's fun. Studying sucks. The process of becoming a millionaire is not fun, but it's real and it's just beautiful. No matter where you are in the world, man, woman, child, if you're under 18, you need parental permission, but you can still trade if you have parental permission. I started trading with a custodial account, 2 decades ago with my parents' permission. So I encourage you to start young, although there are laws around that. I can't just teach you, be like, oh, I'm 16, my parents don't want me to do this. Can you teach me? The answer is no. You need parental permission if you're that young. And even if you're older, you need the right attitude. I get so much fucking attitude from some people. Oh, I don't want to watch. Oh, just give me one video lesson to watch. I don't want to watch hundreds. The more you prepare, the better your odds of success on every trade. Even I, just made nearly 2,000. I've been doing this 2 decades. I sold it in the 230s and it went up to the 260s. So I took roughly half of the potential profits. And on CVSI, the past few weeks, even though I made, nearly 10 grand in one day, it was like a third. I could have had like a $30,000 profit day if I timed it perfectly. So I don't time things perfectly. You won't time things perfectly, but we can all still take a piece of the move, the meat of the move, ideally. And, if this stuff adds up over time, people ask, how do you become a millionaire? One trade at a time, a few $100s at a time, a few $1,000s at a time. How do you make a few $100s or a few $1,000s in a day? You learn patterns that work. How do you learn patterns that work? You study the motherfucking past. The same kinds of stocks, the same kinds of patterns repeat over and over again. Why penny stocks? Because they're the most inefficient. They're full of fucking morons trading them. Morons are easier to predict than big companies and big stocks, which have hedge funds and billionaires and very sophisticated traders who I don't want to compete against. Penny stocks, the best analogy is you're playing basketball against someone like Mini-Me instead of if you're trading Google or Amazon or Forex, you're competing against Michael Jordan and you just have no edge. You have no shot or any predictability at winning more times than not. And this is why 90% of traders lose. They choose the wrong niches. They choose the wrong patterns. They have the wrong mindset. And I don't want that for any of my students. Look at all my trades, nearly 4.9 million in profits, but I'm actually a better teacher than trader. As you can see, if you're, a veteran student of mine, like I mistime things left and right. I can't remember the last time where I took the whole move or even the majority of the move. I'm usually taking half or a third or even a quarter or a tenth of the move, but at least my analysis is right. My approach is right. For teaching purposes, I trade with a small account. For teaching purposes, I trade safer than I normally would. I don't give a shit about $10,000, but I know many of you guys do. And I put myself in the mindset. What if I only had $10,000 to my name? How would I trade? So that's how I trade. In case you're wondering why I'm not more aggressive, I would rather err on the side of caution. And I would rather teach you the safe way of doing things. Even when I, sell too soon or take profits too soon or cut losses too quickly, if you ever wonder how is Tim Sykes going to trade, the answer is safely and cowardly because these stocks are scary. What is Clow at now? Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, still down a little bit. So we'll see where this goes. So far, good trade. Again, if you like this video lesson, leave a comment underneath this video saying, I understand. Thank you very much for watching.